Welcome to the Explainer, everyone. Today we are stepping into an absolutely elite masterclass focused on one of the most notoriously tricky areas of the Cambridge AS and A-Level Accounting 9706 syllabus. We're talking about the disposal of non-current assets. Look, if you have ever stared blankly at a ledger account, fighting the urge to cry because your balances just will not match up, or if you've wondered why a seemingly perfect calculation didn't get you full marks on exam day, I promise you, you are in the exact right place. Today is all about strategy. We are going to deconstruct the examiner's mindset, decode the marking schemes, and give you the precise tools you need to completely dominate this topic. This isn't just about passing, it's about mastering the mechanics. So grab your notebooks, get focused, and let's dive right in. I want to start our session today by posing a really high-stakes question to you. Why do highly capable, smart students consistently lose marks on asset disposal calculations? Seriously, think about it. You might assume it's just a silly arithmetic error, hitting the wrong button on a calculator under pressure, but the truth is actually much deeper, and it's rooted right in the examiner reports. It comes down to the anatomy of the command words. In these high-terrace questions, I'm talking about those massive 9 to 15 mark essay or multi-part calculation questions. Examiners are testing incredibly specific skills. You have to deeply contrast command words. For example, if a question asks you to analyze a disposal, that means breaking down the transaction, showing the cost, the accumulated depreciation, and the transfer to the income statement. But if it says evaluate, or to what extent, you are being asked for a justified judgment. Was selling this asset the right strategic move for the business? How does it impact liquidity? Knowing exactly what the command word demands is literally the key to unlocking those top bands. And that brings us to our core focus today, captured perfectly in this quote. The difference between a B and an A star in accounting often comes down to how well you understand disposal of non-current assets. Top-tier grades require so much more than just basic math skills. To illustrate this, I want you to imagine two of my top scholars. Let's call them Alex and Sam. Now, Alex is highly technical. Alex excels at formulas, memorizes every accounting standard, and never gets a depreciation calculation wrong. But Alex struggles hard with open-ended evaluation. On the other hand, we have Sam. Sam is a highly creative thinker, fantastic at building arguments, and seeing the big picture of the business, but Sam struggles with structural precision and timing. To get an A star, you cannot just be an Alex, and you cannot just be a Sam. You have to synthesize both. You need the rock-solid technical knowledge of the ledger accounts combined with the analytical and evaluative power to explain the why behind the numbers. If you only memorize formulas, you are capping your potential at a B. We need to elevate your approach today. Consider me your elite academic coach for this session. Here is our strategic roadmap for today. 1, we'll cover the core principles and cognitive domains. 2, we'll break down a systematic methodology for tackling data. 3, we'll reveal the secret method mark strategy that saves grades. 4, we'll go over the top 3 examiner warnings directly from Cambridge. And 5, we will synthesize it all with our ultimate deconstruct, solve, evaluate framework. We've got a lot of high-yield ground to cover. Let's start with Section 1, Core Principles and Mastering the Cognitive Domains. To genuinely succeed in the 9706 syllabus, you need to understand the theoretical foundation of what Cambridge is actually testing behind the scenes. They aren't just looking for numbers. They are testing how your brain processes complex financial information. Take a look at this breakdown. Successful candidates must demonstrate competence across 3 specific cognitive assessment objectives, often called AO1, AO2, and AO3. You start with knowledge and understanding. That's AO1. This is knowing the precise definitions of historical cost, accumulated depreciation, and net book value. But you cannot stop there. You must move to AO2, analysis, by structuring your reasoning logically and executing the disposal T accounts flawlessly. Finally, you reach AO3, evaluation. This is the highest tier. Let's go back to our scholars, Alex and Sam. In a recent study suite session, they were debating a huge problem layout. Alex pushed for a purely factual approach, just wanting to list the journal entries for the disposal. But Sam argued for a broader, conceptual perspective, pointing out that we needed to evaluate whether the company's depreciation policy actually reflected the true wear and tear of the asset before it was sold. That right there, that debate is the essence of unlocking top-tier marking bands. You must ascend this cognitive ladder from basic facts to high-level critical thinking to get those maximum marks. Superficial breadth just will not cut it at this level. Principal examiner reports consistently highlight the top candidates reference cross-topic connections. What does that mean for you? It means when you are in the exam, you need to be able to take the principles of asset disposal and apply them to a completely unfamiliar context. For instance, what if the prompt isn't just about a standard machine, but a newly acquired subsidiary's fleet of hybrid delivery vehicles? What happens to the financial statements when you sell one of those vans for significantly below its net book value midway through the financial year? Examiners reward candidates who can adapt their logical, structured reasoning to any curveball thrown their way. That adaptability is the absolute hallmark of an A-star student. Moving right along to Section 2, the methodology. In these massive asset disposal questions, you are very often hit with a giant wall of text. It can be incredibly overwhelming. You're looking at dates, costs, different depreciation methods, and partial year calculations all jumbled together. Let's look at the systematic processing framework to handle exactly that kind of pressure. To handle dense data, you have to rely on a strict 5-step procedural framework. Step 1, identify the key elements from the text. Step 2, apply the relevant accounting principles. Step 3, execute your analysis with abundantly clear working. Step 4, verify your results. Step 5, present in the appropriate format. Now, right before we get into the hardest part of applying this framework, I want to pause our session for a quick second. If you are serious about mastering the Cambridge curriculum, you need consistent, high-level strategy. So right now, hit that subscribe button for our channel, Ace the Exams IGCSE O and A Levels. That's at AceTheExam_IGCSE. Make sure you enable all notifications, hit that little bell icon, so you never miss our weekly Cambridge breakthrough strategies. Okay, let's get back to it. Imagine Alex and Sam actively drafting a model response on screen using these 5 steps. They're going paragraph by paragraph, but suddenly, on step 3, they hit a massive roadblock. They are running out of time and their paragraphs just aren't linking. The calculation of the accumulated depreciation for the year of disposal is completely messing up their timeline. This is where I have to step in as the coach. I pause their session and tell them, stop looking at the final number, look at the cognitive strategy. Break the timeline down month by month, explicitly label the working for the examiner, and move on. When they rewrite that flawed section out loud, explicitly linking the dates to the depreciation charge, you instantly see the transition from a mediocre, confusing answer to a flawless full-mark response. And the reason that intervention works brings us perfectly into Section 3, the method mark strategy. This is the absolute game changer, guys. This is where the battle for top grades is truly fought, and where marks are won and lost in the margins. It's the bridge between average candidates and elite candidates. Please pay extremely close attention to this definition. The method mark strategy means you earn exam points through the correct process and clear workings, where marks are awarded for the methodology itself. Let me translate that into exam reality. The own figure rule is your best friend. Let's say you mess up the calculation for accumulated depreciation early on. You carry that wrong number into your disposal T account. If you just magically write down a final profit or loss figure without showing the ledger accounts, you get a 0. You are literally throwing away free marks. But if you clearly show your step-by-step arithmetic and you put your incorrect depreciation figure on the correct side of the disposal account, the examiner is instructed to award you method marks for the process. Your process is just as crucial as your final answer. Clear annotations act as an insurance policy for your grade. Now for some exclusive insider knowledge. In Section 4, we are diving deep into examiner warnings. We are looking at the top 3 traps students repeatedly fall into, straight from the Cambridge Principal Examiner reports. I want you to treat this next segment like an immersive, interactive visual workshop. I'm putting a 60-second digital countdown timer in our minds right now. Scene 1. Imagine a complex graph or a dense text excerpt on the screen detailing a messy asset disposal. Can you spot the traps? Trap 1. Answers are often way too vague. Students write things like, the asset lost value. Examiners don't want that. They want specific details like, the carrying amount exceeded the recoverable amount. Trap 2. Forgetting format and presentation conventions. This means missing dollar signs, omitting dates in the ledger, or failing to balance off the account properly to the income statement. And Trap 3, which is absolutely the most critical roadblock of all, answers are not specific to the given context. Let's look closer at this one because it's a huge deal. Welcome to Scene 2 of our workshop, Spot the Flaw. Look at this comparison. On the left, we have a generic answer that just recites textbook definitions of depreciation and disposal. On the right, we have a context-specific answer. This is a classic examiner alert. If you just write, profit on disposal occurs when sales proceeds are higher than net book value, you get minimal marks. But the high-scoring answer explicitly links that to the scenario. It says, the profit of $5,000 on the disposal of the factory machinery suggests that the company's straight-line depreciation policy of 20% was overly aggressive, depreciating the asset faster than its actual physical deterioration. Do you see the difference? You must anchor every single calculation directly to the prompt's reality. If you don't weave the specific machinery, the specific business name, or the specific scenario into your text, you will lose those vital evaluation marks. Let's move to our final section, critical analysis. It's time to pull everything together. We are going to synthesize our theoretical knowledge, the method mark strategy, and the examiner traps into one actionable, repeatable system that you can deploy in your very next exam. Introduce yourself to the ultimate synthesis strategy, the powerful three-step deconstruct, solve, evaluate framework. I want you to synthesize this entire masterclass into three core memorable pillars. Pillar 1 aligns with Step 1, deconstruct. This is your three-step question scan. Rip the prompt apart, highlight the command word, isolate the content knowledge required, and circle the hidden constraints, like dates or specific accounting policies. Step 2 is solve. This aligns with our paragraph balance formula. Break the problem into logical steps, process the arithmetic systematically, and ensure every calculation has a corresponding, clearly labeled working. Finally, Step 3, evaluate. This aligns with your last 5 minutes review checklist. Check your final numbers for reasonableness. Does a massive loss on disposal actually make sense for a brand new asset? Question the underlying assumptions, consider different perspectives, and make justified recommendations based on evidence. Elite, top-scoring candidates literally live in this third step. And here is a quick, proven cognitive hack to help you retain all of this under intense exam pressure. The visual story method. Don't just try to blindly memorize isolated journal entries. Visualize the asset's actual journey. Imagine the heavy machinery arriving at the factory on day 1. Picture it working on the assembly line, slowly wearing down, losing value through depreciation year by year. And finally, picture it being packed up and sold or scrapped on disposal day. Creating this mental narrative encodes the complex, multi-step disposal process into your long-term memory. Both Alex and Sam shared that this specific visualization technique was their biggest personal breakthrough in mastering the timing and structure of these questions. It makes recall incredibly fast when the clock is ticking. So knowing the theory isn't enough. Execution is absolutely everything. I'm challenging you right now. As soon as this explainer ends, pull up a past paper. Find a brutal, high-tariff asset disposal question and systematically apply the deconstruct, solve, evaluate framework. Are you going to keep losing points to generic, vague answers, or are you ready to claim every single method mark left on the table? Crushing Cambridge exams requires consistent strategy, and we are here to provide it. Hit that subscribe button for Ace the Exam's IGCSE O&A levels at acetheexam_IGCSE. Turn on the notification bell so you get all our future exam hacks, and drop a comment down below right now with your exact target grade so we can hold you accountable. Thank you so much for joining me today. Keep pushing your academic boundaries, and I will see you in the next masterclass.